Okay, so this next section is about the principles and techniques for anatomical position. We're going to look first just at the natural neutral anatomical position, and then we're going to refine it and optimize it using the loops and the principles of alignment. Okay, so first just regular anatomical position according to the medical profession. We're standing erect, eyes are gazing directly forward, the feet point directly forward, arms hang at the sides with the palms facing forward, fingers are pointing towards the floor, not tense but just relaxed. The spatial relationship of the body is balanced between posterior, anterior, lateral, and medial aspects. And the axis of the body is balanced on the center of gravity with the muscles at their lowest tension. Okay, so we're going to now look at the 7 loops. And first we'll just look at the direction, and then we'll go into more detail. Okay, so just to go into the directions of each of the loops, the ankle loop goes, and this is Kim just standing naturally. We're not activating or doing anything with the loops yet. We'll do that in a minute. So the ankle loop moves up the front and down the back. And you'll understand a little bit more when we get into the details. I'm just looking at the directions. They're like intersecting gears of a clock. One moves the other. So this moves this way. The shin moves the opposite direction, just like in the diagram in your workbook. The thigh loop moves the opposite direction. And then all of them move opposite except for the thigh and pelvic. The pelvic also moves up the front, down the back, up the front, down the back. And you'll see why they balance each other, even though they move in the same direction. Then we go back to opposite, kidney, moving up the back, down the front. And then shoulder moves opposite, up the front, down the back. And then we go into the skull loop, which is moving up the back, down the front. So that's just the directions. Now let's talk about why and how and all of that stuff. Okay, so the cueing for the loops, as well as the actions and effects, are what makes our anatomical position transform from just something effortless and perhaps misaligned to something more vibrant and absolutely optimal. So when we activate our ankle loop, the first thing is we bring the feet parallel. So we'll have Kim turn face the front. So if we were just to stand in natural anatomical, our feet may or may not be parallel, like they might turn out a little bit. One might turn out more than the other. So to sort of line things up, we turn the feet parallel, and that is bringing the second toe in front of the middle ankle. So we want those lines to be parallel. And the distance of the feet, we want them to be 2 fists apart. So you can check that. Perfect. Okay, so she's got position, but now we're going to do the actions. So we lift the toes, and you can actually see that the whole body starts to shift. So if you actually show them from the side view and do that exact same thing, just relax again. And then when you lift the toes, the whole body starts to shift. So what happens is the arches of the feet lift, and it starts to activate the ankle loop going in the right direction, and then it starts to assist and support all the other loops going in their proper direction, and it shifts everything back a little bit towards the back body. So then we can turn back around again. So once we lift the toes, there's an order to when we ground the 4 corners of the feet, and you'll see why that works in a specific order. So first we ground the big toe ball mound, and then that's going to ground the inner feet, and then we go to the baby toe, inner heel, and that creates a bit of a rotation in the legs, and then we go to the baby toe ball mounds, and then the legs start to shift a little bit the other direction, and then we go back to the outer heel, and then this brings everything into balance. So the action of ankle loop lifts the arches of the feet, and it grounds the heels. It moves in that direction. If we do not have enough ankle loop, we will have fallen arches, or if we have too much, then we'll have too high of an instep, which is harder to work with, but we'll most people have the problem of fallen arches. So lifting the arches creates a chain reaction, as we saw, that moves all the way up and begins to align the entire posture from the ground up. It engages the domes and the diaphragms of the body. So you can think of the domes from the feet, the domes of, like all the domes, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. It allows for optimal breath capacity and nervous system functions by moving us into the back body. So optimal alignment for the feet is bringing the second alignment, as we saw, the second toe aligned with the middle of the ankle. People with a strong pattern of external rotation at the hips will usually have their feet turning out, which also contributes to fallen arches, and this may be uncomfortable for them to, and it might even be contraindicated for them to try to force their feet into perfect parallel. However, over time, we can do like baby steps towards bringing them towards parallel. Grounding the feet, and on the inner feet, the first and second corners starts to do an internal rotation, which is like an inner spiral, and then we follow this by grounding the outer edges of the feet, which creates an outer spiral and helps to balance the pelvis, which we'll see how we can take those actions even further up into the thigh and the pelvic loops when we activate them specifically. When we optimize our inner body by applying the first principle, open to grace, and set the foundation, we first establish our ideal attitude or gratitude, and this serves as a direct connection to our axis. And then when we do the muscle energy, which is the second principle, we have an axis to actually connect to. That hugging is done with something that we're actually conscious about. So this positively alters the quality by opening to grace and recognizing that quality in our life. It actually changes how we ground and we connect with the earth. When we're not connected to that higher aspect, when we connect it to the earth, we're doing it more unconsciously. So now let's just practice the ankle loop again. So we bring the feet parallel, line the second toe with the middle of the ankle. We make sure the feet are 2 fists apart and lift and spread the toes, and then you'll go through grounding the big toe and then reach back to the inner heel, and then you'll go to the baby toe side of the foot and then reach back to the outer heel and feel how that feels by just standing, and then root down into the 4 corners of the feet and feel the uplifting energy up through the crown of the head.